everybody has opinions. Sometimes you have good opinions, you have some bad opinions, and then you get something called hot takes, which are, quite frankly, some of the spiciest, worst takes you could possibly have. And in the Overwatch space, we got people with hot opinions. So I went to Twitter and I went to Discord and I asked people, what is your Overwatch 2 hot take? And I let the replies and the responses build up. And I think we had over 1,000 replies, both in quote retweets, replies to other people. It got a lot of engagement, and we'll link it in the description so you can browse them at your at the sake of your sanity, you know. Let's go through them in this new weekly series called Hot Take Overwatch Edition. First hot take we have from Lasertron. Reinhardt and Orisa are the most overpowered tanks in Overwatch 2. Due to them having armor, they can withstand a ton of damage without using their abilities. But I would say Reinhardt is worse. The pin is terrible and his ultimate is instant. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna ask the chat here. Is this a hot take, or is this a mild take, or is this a common opinion? Because hot takes is an uncommon, like, hot opinion. Mild is like, I see where they're coming from, but it's a pretty hot take. And then this is just like a normal opinion. Shit take, it's a pretty hot take. Okay, I agree. I think this take is pretty hot. Was Orisa overpowered last season, or the season before, or the season before that? Has Rein ever been overpowered at all in Overwatch 2? That's the better question. There's been times where he's great on some maps, bad on some other ones, but Lasertron here is saying due to them having armor. But there are other tanks that have armor. D.Va's got a bit of armor at the beginning. Winston's got a little bit of armor as well. Armor's property got changed a little bit, but Orisa is considered a little bit more tankier and durable and overpowered this season because she got way more overhealth on the Fortify. Way more overhealth. Yeah, way more overhealth on Fortify. Fortify itself reduces damage by 50%, and she has armor underneath. That's the thing. And she has an invincibility spinny thing that zero damage for all projectiles in the front, and the ultimate gives her another free Fortify. That's why she can withstand a lot of damage. Not because of that. As Reinhardt, this is a hot take. Can Rein withstand any damage with the shield down? Absolutely not, because he just gets melted and headshot. Rein is actually not tanky at all. He has to have his shield up or else he just goes down. He's an opportunist. He can only go put it down and swing and go crazy when, like, you know, the stuff that does damage is not there anymore. So this is a hot take. I don't think they're overpowered tanks at all. Well, at least Reinhardt isn't. Orisa, arguable, but for reasons not because of armor. Okay, next hot take. The $15 price tag for PvE was basically a DLC, and I'll only be upset if they try to pull this 3+ times. Otherwise, I'm paying less than I would for a full game. I think this is a mild take. $15 price tag for PvE. There's DLC for a lot of games. It's extra downloadable content. You download the patch and then you load up, what, the 3 story missions for $15, right? Now, the real hot take, or the real mistake Blizzard did, was charge $15 for the 3 missions, to be honest with you. In a package deal where you had to get 1,000 coins and then the missions themselves were $5 as a $5 DLC pack, but it forced you to buy 1,000 coins, and then they kind of like packaged it where, like, you can spend 1,000 coins to buy the premium battle pass. So you get the premium battle pass, and then the PvE missions, the 3 story missions, were essentially $5, but $15 for the whole thing. I didn't like that, how they the model around that, excuse me. But otherwise, yes, you are paying less than a full game because this is DLC, and you'll only be upset if they pull us 3 times. I think they're gonna keep on repeating it 3+ times. Okay, what's the next one? With Orisa's reworks, now there's no double shield comp as we used to know it. Now we can have 2 tanks again. The synergy you could create with 2 tanks was so much fun, and no one complained about the usual tank duos except for Sigma Orisa. New tanks equals new duos. Is this a hot take? Wait, what is this even? This is their take, is that we can have 2 tanks. I think with this take, it's a little mild. I think for every, this is going into the 6v6 territory instead of 5v5 when we have 2, you know, if we have 2 tanks, it's back to a 6v6. And I think for every, you know, bad pairing or annoying pairing to play with, like, Sigma Orisa, even if there's no double shield, there's going to be, like, a nice mix of tanks that just were awful to play with. You'll have, like, the Hog lock, and then you have to play what? Like, what do you synergize with Roadhog? Roadhog Zarya for a little bit? Or do you play like Winston Roadhog? That was the thing for a while. For every good, fun duo, there was also like a really annoying duo to play with. Like imagine with the new generation of tanks, Hog Queen, Ramatra plus Reinhardt. I think it could be fun in a vacuum, and we could try this out in like a 6v6 custom game, which I did end up doing a few times. I think I ended up doing Orisa plus Ramatra. Or no, I did 6v6 goats. And it was honestly, I think 6v6 was a little chaotic. This take, yeah, again, is going back to 6v6, and I think it should be kept in the past. I think 6v6 was more fun in 2016 simply because there's no other game that had the physics and the tactical shooter and movement of this game, so we tolerated it for so long. But I think 5v5 was a necessary evil. The counter argument is a lot of tanks don't have a lot of fun anymore simply because they need to be competent in the relevant tanks according to the meta. So that can be a little stressful and you miss the fun synergies. But I don't know about the part where you say no one complained about the usual tank duos except for Sigma. So there's plenty of duos, and with all these new tanks coming out, there's going to be plenty of duos that are just awful, and that's also not going to be a fun time. So yeah. Another hot take here. Overwatch is milking the fuck out of Kiriko, and I'm sick of it. She's gotten 1 to 2 skins every season. She's the new arcade character. She's on the front of the new Heroes Can poster, despite major lore characters being at the back. She got a cinematic, her own song, and I'm over it. Okay, this is a little bit... Is this a hot take, mild take, or cold take, chat? Or shit take? I think this is a pretty cold take. A hot take means you kind of agree with this hot, spicy opinion. I don't think they're milking her, but she's marketable. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just you do what works, okay? You do what sells, okay? Have you guys seen the amount of things people do with Mercy and Diva on Overwatch, not on any other websites? You know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be heroes that are more marketable than others, and Kiriko's very marketable, right? She has great skins, cinematic. She got her own song with the bow because season 1 was featuring her, and they needed to release Overwatch 2 with the bang, with the bow, right? And the cinematic was great with her. I think it's totally fine that she's getting milked a little bit. You know what I mean? You milk it till it's drying out now. You know, it's been 10 months, but you know, you milk it till you empty out the tea. There we go. That's all good. It's just marketing. And Kiriko's a fun hero. She's good. Hot take with Illari. Might be a hot take, but I think the change to not allow Illari's ult to go through barriers is a good change. I feel like she either gets to fly during the ult or it goes through barriers, but not both, and the flight can make for some cool plays, so they made the right choice. The flight allows her to quickly move to shoot her ult around the barriers, but if Illari takes her time, it gives enemies a chance to also reposition to be protected by a barrier too. Maybe it hurts her quite a bit more than people would like right now, but I think it's a good, healthy change for the long term. I don't actually think this is a hot take. I actually think this is pretty fair. It's a cold take. Cold as in it's a reasonable point. As much as people want to, like, as a support main, it pains me that I can't just shoot my ultimate for free through the barrier and just like pop everybody and get 5 kills on the kill feed as Illari. But I actually think Illari, after they nerf the pylon healing a little bit, they nerf the barrier thingy, and it makes it so her ultimate is a bit more strategic. You have to splash it behind the barrier maybe, and like you get free flight from it, which saves you from getting booped in worst case scenarios. I think the ultimate is no longer like an A tier ultimate where it's like a guaranteed like triple quad kill, but more of a utility. You zone them out, they get slowed if they get marked by it, and you have to be clever. It's like a zoning ultimate, kind of like Hanzo Dragon, where if you don't combo it, it's very hard to fully get kills if they're not paying it, like if they're paying attention. Or worst case, it zones people from not stepping there. If you hear praise the sunrise, it's like, oh shit, okay, like it's like a zoning tool. There's like an evolution of how to use the ultimate, and I think I'm okay with this. This is a pretty reasonable take. Okay. Ooh, this is a hot take. Overwatch Assault mode was the best mode and shouldn't have been removed. Temple of Anubis, Horizon Lunar Colony, and Hanamura were easily some of the best maps in the game. I would say this is a pretty hot take. I think some of the maps, they forgot Paris, by the way, but I think these maps were easily some of the best aesthetically designed maps. I think Overwatch hit the nail on the head with the ambience, the environment, the cherry blossoms on Hanamura. Volskaya's got the cold, and they missed Volskaya, excuse me, the cold, frigid feel to it. It's part of the story. Horizon's so cool. You're playing on the moon. I think the concept was great, but I think the Assault game mode was fundamentally flawed. And I think removing it was a good choice at the time because there were more complaints about it than there were people saying, I like it. And everybody who says they miss 6v6 or miss Assault is just suffering from, they're looking for nostalgia. That's right. And then when they actually like visit it again and play it again, they quickly realize, oh yeah, I forgot. So I replayed Assault quite a bit on custom game mode 6v6 with viewers quite a few times. It's fun again for like a game or two because I'm like, oh, I missed this. And then after 4 or 5 straight of these with custom games, some of you guys in the chat played and it's just like, okay, 6v6 on Assault was really chaotic. Like if you snowball, you just snowball so hard on defense, your spawns are so close, you can never cap. It was just fundamentally flawed. I think we should keep it as a relic in the past. Enjoyed in arcade and custom because you can play them. They have Assault in arcade rotation or they're all accessible in the custom game mode. So play it with your friends. I swear, just gather some friends, have a 2 CP Assault night, and you tell me how much fun you have after 10 straight games of those, okay? And then come back to me. A few more hot takes. DPS is becoming a cosmetic role. As a support, I think DPS need a new passive or lower damage of supports a bit. I actually don't think this is a hot take. It's mild. It's mild. They're not wrong. Like, being a cosmetic role is a little bit of what do you call it? Is it a hyperbole? What's that figure of speech? Or my language? People using the right words. Hyperbole? It's a little bit of a hyperbole. But I actually agree that DPSs need a new passive because the current DPS passive is what? Gaining a faster reload speed upon elimination. They used to be movement speed in season 1, which is why Tracer Genji were so good because they got an elim, they're just faster. But the reload speed doesn't affect every hero. What about Hanzo? Hanzo it can't use reload speed. Now here's my like rebuttal hot take for a new DPS passive idea. What about all their cooldowns get refreshed by 1 extra second? Not fully refreshed, excuse me. They speed up 1 second if you get an elim. Just 1 second. All of their ability cooldowns. That can apply to all, because like, again, Hanzo gets screwed out of that. 1 second. Or is that a hot take? Okay, that's my hot take, apparently. What about Bastion? If he gets an elim, then if you get 1, 2, 3, 4 kills and all your cooldowns come up 4 seconds faster. But if you kill 4, weren't you gonna win the fight anyways? That's, I mean, if you only, it's not a 2-second nade. How can you cast of a 2-second cooldown nade? It was gonna be on a 7-second cooldown. He gets 1 kill. And now instead of 7, it's just 6 seconds. It's just 1 extra second. So at most, it's 25% is crazy, but 1 second doesn't feel that bad. But it could be meaningful in some situations. I think that's okay, but maybe this is just me hashing the idea. In any case, this is a mild take. They also said, or lower the damage of all supports a bit. That's dependent on the hero. I don't think you need to lower Lifeweaver's damage or Mercy's damage, but I think BAP is a little strong. I think Illari's a little strong, but I actually think lowering the healing might be a better idea for some other heroes to kind of lower the healing creep. If there's less healing in the game, it means DPS can be a bit more impactful because there's less to shoot through. I played with double Lifeweavers on both teams the other day, and we were just playing woodcutting simulator. We had to go through a forest, and there's so much healing, and nothing died. So DPS could feel like a cosmetic role in that sense, but that's my take on it. Okay, oh, is this a hot take? Mystery Heroes is the best way to play Overwatch. It's random and completely broken, but you have so much fun. Is this the correct take? Not hot. It's not cold. Cold take means it's not it means it's so fun. Real. All right, that's chat's answer. My answer to this is I think it's mild. I don't think Mr. Heroes is the best way to play Overwatch. I think it's the best way to play Overwatch if you have skill issues. No, if you're high as a kite and eating pizza and some tacos, yeah, and messing around with some friends, absolutely. I think if you're a competitive player, I don't think Mystery Heroes is the best way to play Overwatch. I think this is a good way to burn 30 minutes to an hour if you just had a 9 to 5, you know, your boss was yelling at you, you know, you did the work, the email, you know, came back, or the person you emailed never responded, and then you have to respond back to that email going, okay, as per my last email, can you read this part and please respond to this? Thank you. And you have to remind people. Mystery Heroes is like the de-stress mode, but not the objectively best way to play Overwatch. I still think competitive is the best way to play Overwatch. Thank you very much. I'm here all week. This is another like 2CP thing, but this is more on push. Push is worse than 2CP, and the devs may as well bring it back since there are less shields anyways. Okay, this is kind of related to the other ones, to the other 2CP one. I think it's very much a hot take to say push is worse than 2CP. Now, number one, I don't think push is worse than 2CP. Push was, I think, balanced for 5v5 a little bit better. It's more of a symmetrical map. Yes, there's going to be times where you have a really long spawn and you walk back, and there's a bit of a flaw where you push pretty far and the other team has to make up distance to make back some of the thing. But I think symmetry is very nice in a game like Overwatch, to be quite frank with you. And 2CP's issue was like the big disparity on defender and attacker sides, where you either snowball too hard on attack and you just roll them, or on defense you can never break through. I like this. So I don't think push is worse than 2CP, and I don't think they should bring it back simply because there's less shields. As I mentioned before, I don't think shields were annoying, but not like the number one issue on why 2CP was bad anyways. Because removing shields is a band-aid fix for other issues that came with 6v6. Let's do one more. Give Hog his one shot back. That is a hot take. What? Real? Correct? Nah, this is a hot take. I don't think Hog should get his one shot back. I don't think a tank should have an easy one shot like this where you just hook and you instantly just delete someone. This was an issue in season 2 where Hog was everywhere because I don't know. Okay, here's the thing. Personally, I actually didn't mind playing against Hog since I was playing Ana all the time. I just sit and nade him. But I can understand the frustration of having to just playing your mind out, playing really well, and then for some reason you get hooked at a Narnia 20 meters away and then you're instantly dead. And you weren't even in a bad position, but I guess it was bad relative to the fact that they were playing Roadhog and in range. But like, I don't know. I think they took too long with this rework. By the way, the rework for Hog is coming mid-season 7. They've announced it, so that's probably slated for about mid-November. And Hog was nerfed, I think, in season 2, which was December. So he basically went 10 months. So November, actually, it's almost going to be 11 months before Hog is back in his one-shot state, which is actually kind of crazy to think about it. But no, I think this is a pretty hot take. I don't think Hog gets a one-shot back. The whole reason why he had the whole debacle is because the one-shot was the issue. I don't know what they're going to do with the rework. I have no idea how they keep the identity of Roadhog without giving him CC. Maybe 2 chain hooks where it's just a quick stun, where you just half pull them, just tug them, give them the nice little safety squeeze, a little tug forward just to CC them and just reposition, but not in a range where you get blasted by the shotgun. Who knows? But kind of maybe like a Nautilus hook from League, where if you hook him, you also bring yourself to him. What about that? That's truly tanking. Is it really tanking as a Roadhog where you just hook and just delete supports, or do you throw yourself in the enemy and soak up damage? So why not hook them and you yank yourself in? Ah, now we're cooking. Remember to submit your Overwatch hot takes on our Discord or on Twitter. I'll link it down below and we'll go through these weekly.